The start of training camp is right around the corner for the Chicago Bears. On today's episode, me and Bobby are going to break down the players that we think have the best chances of breaking out for the Chicago Bears next season. And we're also going to talk about why Kevin Byard may be one of the best sneaky acquisitions for the Bears this offseason. We're going to get into all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We got Bobby and Haize in the building today. Bobby, how you doing, brother?
What's good, my guy? Everything straight? Let's rock.
Yeah, let's get it, man. So we want to start off today talking about players that could break out for the Chicago Bears next season, and they could make a big impact. The Bears have a lot of first, second, and third year players, all that could, in their own right, could be a potential breakout candidate list. Bobby, who you got first on your list, brother?
The first one, I gotta pull him up to front, tell him come front and center, big dog. I'm going Braxton Jones. I'm putting him based on you got to show us something, bro. I believe he got another level he can go, but there are some doubters, and it's not a bad argument on why they doubt him. Plus, after this season, you got one more year on that contract. It's starting to start. You got to now I believe he got to start building that case. So the first one, I'm gonna throw Braxton Jones out there. You either gonna rise to the occasion or you gonna fall because you see they drafting replacements right now. Stand up or fall. So the first one for me gonna be Braxton Jones, bro.
That's fair. I mean, if Braxton Jones breaks out this season and finally hits that development curve that a lot of people were hoping for him, because he came in 5th round pick, they showed a lot of promise his rookie year. You kind of excuse some of his weaknesses. And then the second year, you expected him to build off of, and he's kind of been the same player for the most part, even since that rookie year. And that's not as bad as some people make him out to be, but you just want to see players continue to improve and develop. And if he does, that can be great, especially considering like the questions around that offensive line. We don't know what Tevin Jenkins' future is. Darnell Wright's probably the most sure thing we have on that offensive line. If Braxton Jones can make himself one of those sure things as well, that will go a long way for that Bears offensive line.
He got to show everybody now. That's how I'm putting it.
Yeah, he got to, man. I'm going to go with a rookie, though, first. Bro, I don't know why, but I feel confident that Austin Booker is going to be the starting defensive end by the end of the season. I don't know at the start of the season, but I feel extremely everything that I've been seeing and reading and even watching more and more tape of this young man, he has all the intangibles that you look for. He has a combination of size and speed that you want as well for a modern day defensive end. And while DeMarcus Walker is a veteran, Walker had 2.5, 3.5 sacks last year. We know that Walker's versatile, so he can be used as a defensive tackle or defensive end. And I just think that Austin Booker is going to show some things this year. I'm not saying he's going to start off as the starting defensive end, but I definitely think Booker is going to win that defensive end position by the end of the season, bro. I just have that confidence level in him, man.
Hey, I ain't mad at you. I think it's real interesting, especially when you consider his skill set. And then like you brought up when it comes to Walker and his versatility. And then, it was just on one of the mailbag episodes, somebody chimed in and was like, hey, I know we talked about Zach Pickens, but Keith Rudolph. And we also had the discussion on Sunday, the live call. And that's a real possibility. We know that Eric Washington likes to rotate these guys around, but you got to put the best people in the best position. So if Austin Booker, that guy, he can get it done, and DeMarcus Walker can be another force inside alongside Dexter, I ain't mad at it. But my second would drip, I'm going to go with Jaquan Brisker. And a big part of it, why is I'm going to kind of save that later on for when we talk about Kevin Byard and his impact. But I think that just to give a little sneak peek, Kevin Byard is a pretty damn disciplined safety. And it's already been talked about with Jaquan Brisker bringing it up himself. I'm not going to have to be switched, on each side of the field so much as I had to because Eddie Jackson was there and we had to go according to, skill set, personnel, whatever it was. Now I'm going to be able to stay on one side of the field majority of the game and be able to really lock in. So some of those things that we seen like missed tackles or being out of place or missing or being a little bit late, to get an interception. I think Jaquan Brisker is going to be able to clean that up because now he knows, look, I ain't got to worry about him on this particular play. I ain't really got to virtually worry about him at all. I should be able to use my skill set and exceed and really, really strive for that. Plus, my man's been talking. So if you talking, you got to show up. You got to show up.
I agree with that. Listen, Jaquan Brisker it's something about Jaquan Brisker. He just needs to take it to that next level. He just needs to get to that next level, right? And if he gets to that, you're talking about somebody who can be a perennial Pro Bowler for sure. And so yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to go with the player that was drafted with Jaquan Brisker, and that's Kyler Gordon. Ooh. I think that this season, now that they've known him, played that nickel all of last season. He missed 4 games last season. And you saw as the defensive line improved last year, he started getting more, breaking up the run game a little bit more. They started using him more, trying to get to the quarterback, using him more pass downs to get to that quarterback in the pass rush. I think that this is a season. When you look at Jaquan Brisker's totals last year, 61 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions. I'm going to go on and say this. Kyler Gordon's getting 3 sacks and 4 interceptions this year.
I think that's solid. And I wouldn't even be mad at it, because when we talked about his impact in the run game, he was hitting people. Yes. And sometime across that middle of the field, he was in a perfect position. And like, if we keep it in a buck, if he really wanted to, he could have drew some penalties, because he could have knocked people head off. But I think that's an excellent pick. But my last one, Haize, my last one is Tyreek Stevenson. I believe the second half of the season, when Sweat got in there, everybody started feeling good about themselves. Edmund came back. He was more healthy and more in rhythm. And Tyreek Stevenson started to settle down. Yes. I can't remember the team who he played against, but he fell. It's one of his most popular plays from this past season, with him falling off from the corner and just zipping right across and making that impactful interception. Most people will know what I'm talking about when I bring it up like that, but I think that this guy, he can really, really shock some people as well. And it ain't going to be so much of picking on him no more like they did in the beginning of last season. I believe that the Bears got 2 good, really, really good corners, and could possibly by the middle part of the season can have 2 shutdown corners. We shall see, though.
We should see. How do you think the Bears secondary will rank by the end of the season?
With the way that it's looking as youth, I'll at least go top 7.
Top 7? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, you look at the way that, and the thing that I love about specifically, like, everybody's skill set just fits together. Like, when you look at Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, Kyler Gordon, it just all makes sense. You got Terrell Smith coming in there, who plays a nice 4th cornerback for you as well. And we've talked heavily about that secondary and what they can bring, man. I think that this is a secondary that's really going to move in the right direction, and we're going to see a lot of big plays from them, and people are going to know the Bears secondary when you have to face off against them next year. Yeah, and so I can't wait to see that aspect of it, especially if that pass rush can be what it was at the end of last season. Man, we're gonna have a Chicago Bears defense again that we love and talk about all the time.
Man, I just can't wait. And for y'all bots that stole all the tickets to training camp, y'all bogus.
Bro, I hate that they do that shit, bro. I hate when they do that, man. Like, it's like, come on, bro. Like I get it. Everybody's excited and people making money and shit like with that. But I hate when people do. It's just like, I know this has nothing to do with sports, but like, you see that people are already buying out the Deadpool popcorn buckets so they can sell them on eBay, bro. Like, what we doing here, fam? Like, this is what, like, come on, man. Like, this is the world that we live in now. It's crazy.
Oh, man. It's free. Let it be free. Y'all trying to get it for free and flip it. That's crazy. Man. Let us enjoy this moment.
Crazy. I noticed neither one of us had Roschon Johnson on here, but how do you feel about his potential to break out next year? Considering we already talked about him potentially passing up Khalil Herbert, do you think that this could be a season where Roschon Johnson may break out?
I think it absolutely could be, but I gotta tread lightly with that, because Khalil Herbert could be feeling some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and a motivated Khalil Herbert can do some things.
All things considered, we know Swift is gonna do what he do. We've been talking a lot about Roschon Johnson. I'm pretty sure he's heard about it. And you say, damn, Ryan Poles, you brought Andre Swift in here when you got me. At least he go in with that mindset. You brought in another running back when you had me already. Watch this. And he can absolutely go ball out. He can falter, like a lot of people been like, man, I don't know, but he can absolutely ball out. And I think that could be a obstacle for Roschon Johnson, because if he is, it's going to come down to the first few days in the first few weeks in training camp on who wants it more. May the best man win. I love it.
Yeah.
May the best man win.
That's a fact. But moving into that, I wanted to talk about Kevin Byard on this one. And like, he's a player that we talked about. Of course, we did a breaking news episode when he was signed, things like this. We've talked about how his skill set really does fit next to Jaquan Brisker in that secondary. But considering the play that we got from Eddie Jackson last year, which wasn't terrible, but it wasn't at the level that we needed to see from what he was getting paid and the health concerns, things like that. Kevin Byard, I think, is coming into a situation where he can do exactly what his strengths are. And I think that that's going to put him in a position where we can look much like with TJ Edwards, right?
Yep.
Tremaine Edmonds got all the notice as far as the linebacker acquisitions
Yep.
there, right? And TJ Edwards came in and was a dog because just everything he brought was the right skill set, exactly what we needed. You look at Kevin Byard and how at times in his career, he's absolutely been a ball hawk. That with Jaquan Brisker, I think that Kevin Byard has the potential to be a super, super sleeper pickup here by the Chicago Bears that we look back on and say, hey, Kevin Byard had a great season for the Bears. How you feeling, Bobby?
I feel the same. I feel the same as you, bro. I love to pick up. I know there was some people that were a little bit like, he's on the older side, but we had the rebuttal right when the age was brought up. This guy is a healthy ass player. And he's always on the field. I think that one of the most important things is the discipline thing. And that's why we're going back to the last topic. I believe Jaquan Brisker is going to have the breakout season due in part because of this veteran that's going to be able to let him know, look, you don't necessarily have to always be the most talented, but if you are consistent, you can put yourself in a position that many other people ain't going to be able to put themselves in. And like one thing, when I was looking at the stats, Haize, it stood out to me, and I believe you brought it up before. We talked about the missed tackles percentage between Eddie Jackson and Kevin Byard. Eddie Jackson is at 17% missed tackles. You want to know what that tells me, ladies and gentlemen? He wasn't in the right position or he wasn't ready to tackle. Kevin Byard, his missed tackles percentage is 3.9%. That tells me he's been in a position or he's ready to tackle when it's time to make the tackle. So I think that's going to be an important part for this Bears defense. And again, that's why I think he's going to be a major reason why Jaquan Brisker breaks out this season, for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with it. And I think that he's going to be there to help support what Jaquan Brisker does. And this was such a good signing because this is a guy you got on a 2-year deal. He's 30 years old. He's a veteran in the NFL, and he's still a very productive one. Yeah, he only played 10 games last year for Philly, but he played 6 games as well for Tennessee. So basically, he played the whole season. He's a durable guy. He's the minimum games he's ever played in his career is 16, and that goes back to when there were only 16 games. So, like, this is a guy who you're coming in. He's durable. He fits next skill set wise to your young safety, and then you get you 2 years now to go out there and find another safety. And that's not to say you can't come back and mentor that next safety, but he's still a veteran like we had in Eddie Jackson, but he's better in every shape, form, and fashion, and he's a more natural fit next to Jaquan Brisker as well. I just think this could be a really good signing for the Bears.
I do too, and I want to add on. I think this can be a bounce back year in his eyes. His numbers wasn't really that good in Philly. Like they weren't really that good for him, and he can have something going personal on with him and ready to rock and roll with these young guys. These young guys, we already talked about TJ Edwards. When you talk about the discipline of TJ Edwards and now you add in discipline on the back end, that just makes for what a good defense should look like. I can't wait to see it, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's big there, and you look at how he's coming into that secondary. Yeah, I love what you said about it being a motivating factor because some people did blame him for the Eagles defense taking a slide. And when you look at it in his play, I just don't believe in that. Now, again, maybe I'm a little bit jaded on that because now he's on my team. It is what it is there. I can admit that. But I have hopes that Kevin Byard's going to come in here and have a really big season for this Bears team. And if he does, man, like I said, this secondary overall, he's coming into a secondary that's young, all from top to bottom. Even he's the vet now in this secondary. Like him and Jalen Johnson are the two players that have been in the NFL the longest in the secondary. And Jalen's 26 years old, bro. Like
it's crazy.
It's such a great space that this Bears team is in with the secondary, man. And Kevin Byard, I think, is going to be a big reason for that. And the way those two guys come together, man, is going to be really important as well. So definitely excited about Kevin Byard and what he can bring to this team. And the secondary is going to be something to watch, man. I really think we're going to see a special kind of synergy with this secondary that I don't think we've had. When's the last time the Bears had a really great secondary?
Probably 2018.
Yeah.
I think that was Kyle Fuller, which should have been on the team. And those guys, I think that was probably the last time.
That's probably, you're probably right. And so, like this, I mean, the defense overall, you've been watching something that I feel extremely confident in what this defense is going to bring to this team. Yeah, overall, it's super exciting. Anything else you want to touch on, Bob?
Oh, I was just gonna say, man, I think that y'all bogus as hell for taking all the tickets, but nonetheless, I gotta bring it up. Hey, man, I'm just excited, man. I think that everybody right now, we should be getting ready to move in the right direction with this excitement. I'm just hoping that the offense can match up to it, and like, bro, because it's gonna be an exciting year. That's just what I believe in. And I ain't pretty much got nothing else to say after that. But tune in, love y'all, do what y'all gotta do to keep getting this fire.
Yeah,
hit the subscribe button, baby.
Hit that subscribe. You already know. Come on, man. We've been going all off season, haven't stopped yet. It's crazy, like how the only time we slowed down a little bit was during the damn Bulls free agency, because that last week, bro, when you look back at last week and what it was, bro, that last week was crazy.
It was.
Man,
you was on.
Yeah,
don't know if I'd be on like, hey, that motherfucker on.
Bro, man, I think I did like freaking like 20 episodes just last week, bro. It was crazy. But yeah, we're locked in, man. Ready to just see what this season's gonna be, bro. And I'm really excited. Like, there have been a lot more people I've been seeing now recently. Of course, you know, the doubts coming saying that Caleb Williams is gonna be a bust. I just can't wait, and I hope that Caleb Williams really proves those motherfuckers.
I do too, man. I really do. I think he got everything that's made right in front of him. He got the talent, the skill set. You just gotta put it on wax, baby. That's it. It's right there for him, though. For sure.
Yeah, it's right there for him. And the Bears have set him up into a situation where they are betting on his success. Yeah, we'll see what comes along with that, man. But y'all make sure y'all check out Bobby and C-Dub as well over at the Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. You already know, man. They're bringing it every day over there. Even Bobby's baby girl showed up in the most recent episode. This is my favorite moment in the episode, bro. His favorite moment.
I'm like this. I'm gone. No, I need this book.
She's like, yeah, man, forget all that book, and whoever you talking to, that don't matter nothing to me.
Hold up.
But yeah, man, y'all make sure y'all stay in tune with us. We'll be live back in soon, bro. We 21 days, because it's August 1st is the first preseason game. We're exactly 3 weeks away, basically, bro, away from that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. I can't wait to talk about Bears football again, because there's been so much just anticipation with how this season is built. You guys have been a part of that, so make sure you guys stay locked in with us. You can follow us at Shy Bears Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, chicagobearscentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. You know how we end it. Chi-Town up, bear down. Love you guys.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.